What's up, YouTube? This is Truth.His.
Hey guys!
Before we even get into episode 3, I just want to take a moment to talk about the most important thing going on right now in our nation. In case you've been living under a rock, Jacob Blake was detained by police in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Long story short, he was getting up, going into his car. He may or may not have been tasered. As he's going into his car, he was shot 7 times in the back.
By the police.
Yeah. And without trying to be subjective about it and get into all the debates, my stance on it is enough is enough. We are all entitled to the exact same severity of policing, and that's not happening. It's leading to us being crippled, murdered. It's not what everybody else is getting. That's what these protests are about. That's what Black Lives Matter is about.
Black people are only asking for basic human rights that everyone should have. So it's time that we all just step up and really use our voice. Like you said, enough is enough.
So let's get into episode 3.
Valuable lessons.
We left you guys last week with the story of breakups.
Remember guys, he broke up with me.
You had to get into the details.
I mean, keep it real, right?
This week's episode is going to be the lessons that we learned during the time we weren't together.
10 short, long years. We actually both got into really serious relationships. What I learned from that relationship, number 1 was my non-negotiables. What I want, what I need, what I don't want, and what I don't need. Number 2, I was really able to focus on my values. Am I showing up as the best version of myself? Am I truly embodying my femininity with my masculinity energy? I took the time out to really focus on myself, my toxic traits, and my positive ones too. And I wanted to, level up. And number 3, I really learned that when a relationship is over, it should be over. Setting up that boundary and just knowing that it's okay to leave a relationship. You actually gain a lot of strength in knowing when something is done and you don't come out damaged out of it. I don't know about you guys, but nobody buys damaged goods except you.
So coming out of our relationship, I was extremely determined. And I was determined to prove that I was good at relationships because I was actually trash at relationships.
As most people are.
I went into that situation literally not having a possibility of failure in my mind. I said, I'm going to do whatever. I will endure whatever, and it will be successful. As it turns out, that really doesn't matter. It has to be a relationship that actually works. I had a ton of things to work on, and I also became a little overbearing in that situation from the perspective of the way I suggest and help. On the other side of that, I was also rationalizing everything that I saw that was a negative behavior. Everything I saw that was a negative behavior in the context of the perfect relationship that I was building had to be ignored or rationalized. None of those things got better. They all got worse. And that's not to say that those were the only negative things going on in the relationship. I had negative parts of it that I owned as well. But the negative things I was seeing, I had to push them to the side because they couldn't be relevant because I had to win. So what I took out of that situation was I need to take a step back and allow everyone to be their own imperfect self. Easily the most important thing to come out of both of our relationships was our kids.
Most definitely.
Like, what were the lessons learned that you had from raising Liam?
Woo! I have actually learned so much being a parent. I think I've actually learned more in the 5 years that he's been living than he's learned. I think the most important lesson that I have from being a parent is to be conscious. I'm conscious that my son has an older soul than I do. I'm conscious now that people's emotional needs are way different than mine. Liam has taught me to be more empathetic and that I actually cook pretty good because he loves my food.
She can do a little something.
He loves my food,
She can do a little something. Raising Robbie has been the greatest privilege of my life. It has been the most difficult thing. I told everyone I did parenting backwards. I started that teenage girl. She's smart, she's funny, she's lazy, she's hardworking as well. Don't ask me how that works. I did have to learn how to be extremely persistent, and I learned how not to take things personally. Particularly when you adopt a child, there will be times that child does not identify with you. But I'll tell you, when you get into adulthood, and especially when you adopt yourself or you
become a step parent.
Exactly. The appreciation comes later, and it is so deep and it's so profound. So coming off of all of that life experience that I had, I certainly reflected on our relationship and you in particular a lot differently than I did at the time. And there were things about you, your independence, your intelligence, that rang a little more true than they did when we were together.
I was also able to reflect on us. It was hard dating someone after dating someone like you. But when things are meant to be, eventually things come back. And I actually prayed for you. I prayed for you often.
We had a mutual link all these years, although we weren't talking, through my sister Tia.
Hi, Tia.
You guys got super close when we dated the second time. That'll be something that we dive into a little bit more in next week's episode.
And we'll share with you guys how we reconnected and why and how we are where we are today.
Yeah. So please subscribe down below. And if you're feeling this shirt right now,
ooh, it's fresh.
Yeah, please check out the links below and you can get your hands on some of the merch.
Have a great week, guys. Bye.